then drop them drawers. I know what you want. I ask myself, is this shit real? I contemplate about how I feel.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. We have a very, very important topic to talk about, and I mean me. So buckle in, excuse me, just fixing this microphone. And this is going to be a powerful one. So I advise that you get a notepad and a pen. It is also the full moon, me recording this. So if you go into my High Vibe Club, which is my Facebook group, I would have gone live because, this would be posted past tense, future tense. Anyway, and so I am going live today, which is the Tuesday, to talk about the full moon and how to release things and how to move forward with the next month that is ahead of us. Okay, let's get into it. So there is a lot about this topic to unravel. So let's hope I don't go too cray-cray. And I say this in every episode, I'm very sorry. We are fully in control of our emotions, our thoughts, and our life. I don't know why I started off with that, but I just feel like it's really important to express, and I'll obviously go into it, but it's really important for me to express just how important it is to be the one in control of your life as opposed to the victim mindset. So I'm going to quickly just touch base on how the mind works. I have explained this before, but the thing that you need to realize is that your past is literally the past. Now, the only thing that matters is this present moment right now. Technically, nothing else exists around us. But what happens is that we recreate our future based on our past events, the things that have happened in our past. And what I mean by this, and this is kind of more of like a Dr. Joe Dispenza teaching, but it's like we are stimulated by everything, by the same emotions and the same beliefs, the thought patterns that, that have happened in our past. And our past is a minute ago, a second ago, weeks ago, months ago. That's our past. Now, our mind is very conditioned. So from the ages of 0 to 7, our mind, and this is really important to really like soak in what I'm about to say. This is why I say get a notepad and a pen and write it all down. Between the ages of 0 to 7, our mind is not functioned, right? We are in what's called the theta brainwave state, which is kind of like hypnosis. Now, our mind just feeds all this information from our environment. So it's taking in all this, all the things that are happening around us as children, just like a sponge is soaking up water. And because it doesn't have that function developed yet of being able to accept or reject information, it pretty much soaks in all the information, right? And later on in life, after 7, our mind is developed into the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So pretty much is that when you have such a tiny event that occurs in your life as like a baby or a child, where let's say that your mum yells at you and says, "Don't cry." That then feeds into your mind and it stores like a hard drive into your subconscious mind. So then you carry on this belief because of that one tiny moment that you don't even consciously remember of you not feeling like you were able to cry. And the emotions associated could be, depending on what you felt at the time, could be like, oh, I'm crying for babies, or I don't feel good enough, especially when a child just wants to be loved and nurtured. And I know this appears a lot in like the male, the father figure. It's like we don't often get that love and that nurture and that soft side from our parents, but most of all our father. Therefore, we genuinely bring on these beliefs as though we're not good enough. It's like fathers in particular, I'm not saying all fathers, but parents, let's just say parents, put an expectation on us. And the moment we have that expectation, the moment we're placed with that expectation, it's like if we don't live up to it, we don't feel good enough. And I can guarantee you, at some degree, we all, to some degree, do not feel good enough. And the really tricky thing with us humans is because we're habitual human beings, we like hold on to these emotions, we hold on to the beliefs so that our mind can protect us from ever having to experience that again. Now, so let's just go back. So you're a childhood, you've maybe experienced something in your life. Maybe it could be something so small, and then what happens is as you grow up, your mind likes to reaffirm things. Your ego, I like to call it, looks for validation. So it likes to validate that feeling by looking for things around it. And in one event that could actually play out completely different to how you perceive it, but your mind is going to perceive it according to the emotion and the beliefs that you've been carried with you. And so this is like so crucial because we wake up feeling the same way every single day. We hold on to events in our past. We hold on to something that happened in high school. Like, I was bullied in school, and the emotions that I felt being bullied and experiencing being bullied was horrible. And quickly, funny story is, like, I had a really bad day yesterday. I got scammed. Well, I thought I got scammed. I actually didn't. Newsflash. So yeah, I put all this trust and faith into someone who I thought got scammed. Anyway, and this is where it's like our mind is so powerful. Between that time of like not knowing and finding out that I actually didn't get scammed, I panicked. Now, losing the money was part of it, but what really got me into, I think, the worst state I'd ever been since being bullied was I felt like I was broken. I felt like I was going through a heartache, but a breakup. I genuinely felt like I was going through a breakup. My heart was hurting, and I was like, why am I feeling like this? It's because I felt betrayed. So obviously somewhere along the lines, I really, I experienced something of similar emotions, and then my body held on to that, the emotions. My mind, my subconscious mind has that information stored in there. And so I constantly reaffirmed throughout my years. I kind of, looking back at my past, I know this is like I kept being put in environments where I would validate that feeling of not feeling good enough, or feeling betrayed, feeling heartbroken, not feeling good enough, all those emotions. And it was because I was in default mode. My mind just kept going back to that. Now, I was like heartbroken yesterday, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's not even a big deal. But my body took over. Literally, like, whew, it went cray. My mind was spiraling, but my nervous system was so bad. Like, I was in fight or flight mode. I was in flight, actually. I was like, nah, I need to get out of here, right? So I was anxious to the wazoo. My heart felt heavy. I felt like I was heartbroken. I was going through a breakup, yet it wasn't even close to that experience. And so what happens with us is, is our body thinks it's going, when it goes through stress or something like that, our body thinks it's doesn't know the difference between getting, chased by a predator or having a gun held to their head, or just going through like simple stress. It's the same type of same type of experience through the body. And so it's really important to realize that everything that we have experienced in the past, first of all, is completely irrelevant. Whatever happened 2 seconds ago, if you had an argument with your mum, with your best friend, with your boyfriend, with your co-worker, with your boss, whatever, 1 second ago, it is no longer relevant. It is no longer in an existence, technically. But the reason why we keep feeding into that, it's like, and what we call a mood, is because of the emotional experience. We hold on to the feeling. Like when let's say that you get cut off when you're driving and you get really angry, and then the whole car ride, the drive home, you're so fucking angry because you're just reminiscing and you're replaying the emotions, you're replaying the experience as though it's happening still, but it's already happened. Now, when you can realize that, first of all, this is all victim mentality. This is a victim mentality. This person did this happened in my past, so now this is who I am. That is a victim mentality. You have to get beyond your experiences by getting beyond your emotions. And getting out of that victim mindset is going to help you take back control. Because the moment you're in that victim mentality, you're blaming other people. You're saying other people are controlling your emotions. Now, you're the only one that's controlling your emotions, not no one else around you. It doesn't matter what you've gone through in your past. That is not what's controlling your emotions. You are. That's not controlling or created your personality. You've created essentially your personality. You just do not realize it. But we've been living in autopilot for so long. We've let our subconscious mind run our show, run our life. And if you look at life, if you take a second, you're like looking at life and you go, oh yeah, I'm not really happy. That's because your subconscious mind has recreated. And what I mean by that, it's like we attract what we are a vibrational match of. We call into our life of what we feel worthy of or what we feel deserving of. And this is quantum mechanics. This is scientifically proven, guys. I'm not making this shit up. But the moment you can overcome the emotion of the past, that is the moment you are no longer living in the past. That's the moment you've overcome the past and you're in the present moment. Dr. Joe Dispenza always explains so nicely that the way that you overcome your past is the emotions, and you recreate your future from the present moment right now. So like if you really wanted to live a life that was completely different to the life that you had now, if you just close your eyes and like imagined what it would be like, and also feel how would it feel, like who would you be, and like what would the conversations that you would have, like who would you surround yourself with, like that would be a fucking amazing experience, right? But how is that any different? So you being able to vision that, to be able to close your eyes and imagine that, is no different to, I guess, manifesting $1 million. You know what I mean? There is no limitations to what we can achieve in life. But the moment we recognize that we're letting our past, the emotions, I should say, of the past control our future, then we're just going to keep living in this very toxic, I like to call it, very repetitive cycle. You must overcome the experiences. Now, if you're someone that's like, so caught up in something that happened in the past where you like you hate people, like you hate someone. First of all, that's an emotion, you got to recognize it. But second of all, forgiveness will set you free from that past experience. Forgiveness is a lot easier than what we think. Like, I have this whole thing about forgiveness. I might do a separate episode on forgiveness, and it is literally as simple as closing your eyes, imagining being in front of this person and forgiving them. Like, I'll do a whole nother episode on that. But forgiveness is probably in a lot of area, like with a lot of people, and where they struggle to forgive. If you can forgive that person, you're forgiving the experience. You're no longer holding on to the emotion that's associated with it. Again, you're back into the present moment. It is so much simpler to be able to release and let go of the shit that happened in our past when we can let go and overcome the emotion. That is honestly 555. That is honestly like the way to do it. So if you're thinking back and you're like, fuck Jessie, like I've got so much emotion to overcome. Well, the first step is to just become aware of the emotion. Most of us suppress our emotions, or we neglect them, we don't even pay attention, and we let life just run the show. Or I should say our subconscious mind run the show. When you become aware of the thoughts that appear, the belief systems, you'll be able to see a pattern of the emotional side of like how are you feeling, how things make you feel, where you're triggered specifically. And that will make sense on like, whoa, that's warm. That will make sense on like, oh, okay, well, this is obviously living in fear because, and this is where you can also start to unravel, but you don't necessarily need to know what happened in the past. Again, you just need to know the fear. So you could just say, I'm very fearful right now, or I'm very angry right now. I'm holding a lot of anger, which I need to let go of. For me, in this incident yesterday, I had so many different type of emotions. I had anger, which I like full lost my voice because I was screaming because I felt betrayed. But that was the emotion. The emotion associated around the whole experience was betrayal. I'm like, why do I feel so betrayed? It's not even that bad. So the first thing that I did was I recognized what I was feeling and what I was thinking. And I separated myself. When you can recognize the feeling, the emotion, you're able to take a step back and go, okay, well, I'm not my emotions. I'm simply going through them. And then you can start to redefine that emotion by going, well, hold on. This is not my future. This is not who I am. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to take deep breaths, especially when your nervous system's like fucking overloading like mine was. For me to just think about a new emotion was so much harder. Honestly, what I had to do was I had to take the big deep breaths. I did the Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation where it's like you draw all the energy up to your pineal gland. Yeah, your pineal gland, your head, your crown chakra, whatever. And you keep doing that. The more you do that, the more relaxed your nervous system is, and the energy is going out of your body and into your mind. It's so fucking cool. But I had to do that first, and then I was able to, after I was able to calm my nervous system, I was able to start placing my energy, which is my emotions, into the experience that I really wanted to experience. Now, like I said, it wasn't as easy as just what I'm saying, because I was very much in that emotion. It was like fucking me over, excuse my language. So it took a lot for me. And sometimes, like, when I'm feeling like this, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm just going to let go. I'm going to let go of everything. And I'm just going to do nothing. Or I'm going to distract myself and watch a show. None of that is necessarily bad. I mean, for me, I'm very aware of what I like, what information I feed into my subconscious mind. But in that moment, I guess a full distraction was what I knew I needed to help me. And then I was able to meditate and do what I... So the point is, you can absolutely overcome anything. But you have to make the choice on whether you want to continue being that in that victim mindset, or whether you're prepared to take control by taking responsibility. And you must take responsibility for everything. And it's not necessarily like you are put in certain situations that are out of your control entirely. However, you do have control of how you react. And one thing that I've been practicing is to reflect rather than react. And when you can reflect, you're able to observe what you're thinking and how you're feeling in that moment. That is disconnecting yourself from the situation, and you're able to gain control and take responsibility. Because there are always going to be times in your life, no matter how many times you overcome the emotion, we're habitual human beings. We're going to continue feeling triggered. And the beauty of it is, the more we practice, just like riding a bike for the first time or learning to walk for the first time, the more we practice it, the easier it becomes. So I ask you to start becoming aware of the feelings and the thoughts that arise in moments, in any moment where it's not what you want. Like, and what I say that is like, it's like if you are feeling or experiencing something that we like to call negative, then start to become aware in those moments of the thoughts and the feelings. And how Dr. Joe explains this is like, we wake up on the same side of the bed every morning. We get a coffee. We get our morning coffee like we do every morning. We brush our teeth. We go to work. We push the same emotional buttons every single day. It's about disrupting that by no longer letting the mind and the body take control. You're the one taking control. He also says it's like training a stallion, I think he says, or training a dog or a pet to do what it says. Our body is like a pet, because our body likes to take over control of our mind. And this is a perfect example. So when I suffer anxiety, when I still do, because it's been so deep rooted into my body, in my nervous system, and in my mind. So I used to get anxiety attacks when I used to have to get up on stage and sing. And so now, whenever I face anything publicly or anything, just like even, I get social anxiety, like anything triggers me. But what I've been able to work on is, first of all, my mind. So when I get anxiety, my mind runs wild. So I'm taking back my power by becoming aware of my thoughts and being in control of them. So when I am going through, let's say, a big anxiety attack, I reassure my mind. I go, everything is okay. I am completely fine. I'm completely safe. Nothing is wrong. I'm not going to die. Like, we're good. But, which I've kind of been able to perfect, like when I'm getting anxious, I'm very aware now. But the thing that I'm still trying to overcome, I'm still working on overcoming, is my body. It's been trained so well to automatically go into fight mode, where it's like, is it fight, flight, or freeze? I don't know which one, where it's like it panics. It goes into panic. It's like having a panic attack, right? You know when like you're like really anxious, or you feel anxious and you're having like a panic attack or something and you don't know why? Well, your body's controlling that. And so now, like when I'm anxious, my body is like trying to fight up do its thing like it usually did all those times when I had to perform, because it's used to that. And so now I've been able to practice retraining my body and being like, no, you're fine. We're going to take some big deep breaths, and we're going to change the emotions, and we're going to experience actually being calm. And this is a big practice for me, but it's steps. The more I practice, the less, the more the body will change that experience. So like, for example, where I'm striving towards is that when I go on stage, because eventually I want to do motivational speaking, just before I go on stage, it's going to be, I'm training my body to be excited and calm at the same time, rather than shitting itself and sending juju energy to the mind. Does that make sense? So I don't think people really truly realize how our body has more of an effect over our mind. Our mind is one part of it. That's why it's like mind, body, soul. It's like our nervous system has a mind of its own, really, and it just feeds information to the mind, and like they just communicate. So overcoming the emotion is going to help overcome your body and help your body back into reacting the way you want it to react. So that's why I say, like, when we get into meditation, when we sit down, we close our eyes, we've never done it before, we very quickly want to get up straight away. And it's because our body is very uncomfortable. Our body doesn't like to sit still because it's not used to it. It's used to doing a whole bunch of shit in the morning before work. So when you're telling the body, like, this is where it's like a training, like a dog, you're like, no. You're going to stay. And this is what Dr. Joe Dispenza says, and I fucking love it. You're going to sit, you're going to stay, you're going to listen to me, and then you can do whatever you want after. And it really, like, I resonate with that so well, because I used to still, like, if I'm in moments where I'm like, I've got a whole bunch of stuff to do today and I need to meditate, my body's like, you don't have time to meditate. It's like, yes, I do. Sit the fuck down and let's meditate. So don't get tripped up as much as you can. Try not to put yourself, and it's so much easier said than done, I realize, but it's up to you and the effort that you want to put in to naturally just fall into that victim mindset. Every time you have a conversation with your mum or your friends or your co-workers that's like, oh, this person said this to me, they're a fucking idiot. That is a victim mindset. You take that back, right? Take it back to you. Anything that you say, it's like carrying all this, like, words carry vibration and it carries it out. So if you're really keep getting tripped up on certain things that maybe did happen yesterday at work or whatever, or at home, then you're reaffirming that, and that's what you're bringing into your future. You have full control of your life. You don't need to let your past circumstances play your story and be your future, because it's just a rehearsed set of emotions and thought patterns, which are your beliefs. So become aware, recognize, remember that you are the powerful one. You just have to take responsibility. Take responsibility for everything, like everything, because you can't control what other people think or how they feel or what they say to you or the shit that they do to you, but you have the power. You're so powerful. I don't even think you realize you have the power to not let that one little fucked up word that person said define who you are, or to even give any bit of energy of yours away to that. The moment you do, and the moment you're you're validating those emotions, because everything is just emotions. If you honestly overcome a lot of your shit, the negative emotions that you feel, that you express day to day, then when people do curse at you or treat you shit, because you're so like over that, because you're no longer, your mind and body's no longer stimulated by like a reaction, you don't even give a fuck. You're like, cool, I'm just focusing on my future. I'm just like living in bliss. I'm just living in abundance. I'm very happy right now. I'm way too happy for that person to kill my mood, but it's all about repetition. So I hope this really helped you guys. I've opened a couple of spots for my one-on-one coaching. So if this is something that you're interested in, then the link is in my bio. And remember that you are the motherfucking powerful one. Don't forget that, okay? And take responsibility and get out of that victim mentality, okay? Well, I hope this helped. And as always, I will see you next time.